The last night of the regular season, it's here, guys. We are here with our Around the Arc pregame show, No H. I forgot that yesterday. Ryan's favorite intro. We're presented by Burns Tire. Ben, Matt, Ellis, and Ryan. I'm Joey. Tyler behind the camera, barely working. Working barely, I don't know, it's hard to tell. But big games tonight as we get ready for the playoffs. And we have our scenarios figured out. Comment questions if you have anything about where teams can finish. If you saw the post on the website, there are some examples there of the highest a team can finish depending on some things.
Or if you just want to throw some jabs at your potential opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I did it yesterday and it worked out great. So, that went over well.
Joey,
but
I never miss again, Zacco.
New day, new games. That's what I like to say. So it's a brand new day. Here we go, we're live. 2 people watching, comment some questions. Hopefully there's no sound on this. Ryan Spitz is one of them. That's great. So we'll start with 2 of our undefeated teams played tonight. And we know that No Limit would have to win by about 80 points more than Serial Killers wins to control their own fate for the 1 seed. So if both teams win, more than likely it'll be the Serial Killers with the 1 seed. But how come you guys aren't necessarily picking the upset for the Serial Killers after Goon Squad looked pretty good yesterday?
Well, I just think that depth is going to be one of the major factors in this game. Goon Squad is also a team that seems to play inconsistent week in, week out. You know, you never really know what you're going to get with them. Yeah, last night they had a really good game. Brandon Massaro really stepped up. I think it was Tyreed, right? Tyreed had a great game. And they played a real team game last night. But you never know if they're going to actually come and do that, if they're going to rely too much on, I'm blanking on his name again, Matt Marconi.
Yep.
Rely on Matt Marconi too much to play hero ball. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But Serial Killers are a really deep team. They have a really, really strong roster.
Maybe their first, I know Tyron loves this, maybe their first test today. And by that I mean a close game in the 4th quarter, crunch time stuff.
I mean,
kind of teams making plays back and forth.
And they haven't lost. So
right.
anyone could beat anyone on any given night.
Saw that yesterday.
Right, I think, the reason that I picked the Serial Killers is, just like Ben was saying, Serial Killers have always been a consistent team. They're always a high-scoring team. Goon Squad, just backing off of what Ben said, you just don't know if they're going to show up or not. This could be a game where they played yesterday where, they hit the court, they're going running, they're making baskets, or it could be like one of the many other weeks they don't show up and Serial Killers runs all over them.
And to the other undefeated team, I know we have No Limit in Temptations tonight, which I think could also be a very good game. A very interesting topic on that one, while I try to get the feedback up. Troy Brunson, big game yesterday, made his impact. What did he say?
His block was better.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. Keep that in mind. No Limit. Troy Brunson for the Temptations played very well yesterday. I know you guys had some interesting thoughts as far as who would he guard on No Limit as they play more of I would say not so much inside out, but yeah,
they play a balanced game.
Yeah, and they have players that can do a lot of different things. I think is what I was going for. So who is he going to guard when he's on the floor, and then vice versa, the other end, who's going to guard him?
Yeah, like you were saying, it's going to be a difficult matchup because Troy's more of a traditional big where he's going to play with his back to the basket on offense, and he's going to play inside the paint on defense. And No Limit really doesn't have any player on their roster, let alone their starting 4, that plays traditionally in the paint, like no matter what. So technically the biggest guy on the team's Terrell, but I feel like Terrell's too quick and athletic for him. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he guards Ronte, but Ronte could take him outside. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him, more so on the defensive side. On offense, if Terrell guards him, then it's going to be tough because Terrell's one of the better defenders in the league. But if Ronte guards him on the inside, he might have a decent offensive day because of the height disparity. But on defense is where it's really going to rear its ugly head.
Anyone? That's it?
I mean, you said it pretty perfectly right there.
So who do you think's going to win?
Who do I think's going to win?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take No Limit right there.
Yeah. You better, right?
Of course, yeah.
So what could the Temptations do, though, Ellis, to keep it, I guess, close, right? If you keep it close, things can happen.
I guess they got to limit the number of shots that they take from the 3. Definitely, get in Terrell's face, get in Howie's face. Those 2 have combined and are 2 of the most lethal scorers in the league, I would say. John Rowland could also be a problem. I would say John maybe might match up against Troy Brunson. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Ronte might get
on the
there.
Defensive side?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting to Davin's question real quick. Whose block was better last night, Zacco or Feldman? You better answer correctly.
I'd say Chris Folsom's block.
All right, that wasn't an option, Matt.
Zacco.
I'm going Feldman.
I mean, I was saying
Tyler.
block of the night.
Tyler, just because of his reaction.
I'm going Feldman
I
also
didn't
because
see
I
it.
saw live action. I
Tyler's
didn't get to
reaction
see live
afterwards
action.
was the most priceless reaction you could
He
have
gave out the
ever
roar.
imagined. I've never seen someone get so pumped
Well,
for something
that's
in
what
my
happens when
entire
you're,
life.
that's what happens when one, you're playing someone named Nick Baccarella, and two, when you're not used to making plays like that. I've been there and
Fair.
done that, guys. So you react a little
We
differently.
needed a block at 1 for 10.
Davin's a game time decision with old age, so that's a thing.
True.
Uh,
I feel
who
it.
needs to win more? Speaking of my team and Nick Baccarella, wow, transitions are just on point today. Sportsbook TMC. Who needs to win more? You guys were talking about this earlier. TMC with the potential to get up to a 6 seed, and I believe, let's make this sure this is
11.
correct. Sportsbook is 13th now.
Mhm.
Can finish as high as 11 or as low as 15.
I'm gonna go. I think you guys need to win more. TMC really needs to win after your loss last night. To go 0-2 the week before going into playoffs, I think that's a skid any team would want to avoid. Sportsbook, on the other hand, last night got the win over Stranger Danger. Tyrell Holmes back, like he's going to be a real dominant force. I'm not sure who's going to be able to handle him on Run TMC. I know I'm sure there's some matchups that'll be a good matchup to watch. I think maybe Kevin Blake will probably take him on the defensive end, but it'll be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to agree that Run TMC is going to need the win more just because of last week's game. You don't want to head into the playoffs losing to, yesterday was definitely a tough loss for Run TMC, and you don't want to run into the playoffs going on an 0-2
And I
run.
called it. Sorry.
And Ben called it.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the stream. You can comment questions in while it's still
Comment how to
working.
fix the stream.
Yeah, fix the stream or what scenarios you want to talk about playoff wise. They'll be set tomorrow. The bracket will come out tomorrow. Tonight's games can be found under week 2. And you guys may not be too prepared for this. What first round matchup, if you want some standings, are right here, are you most interested to see? So some potential options are we can get a Run TMC Goon, Run TMC Lob again. As far as 8-9 Renegades rookies, and then obviously you can mix all those teams up in that area, or firm Lob, firm Goon, or some options. Which one excites you the most?
I would go with one that you didn't mention because if it stays the same today,
Yep.
Sportsbook would play Redemption, and I'd just like to see the individual matchup of Terrell Holmes versus Jalen Graham. Because Terrell Holmes has only shown up to about 4 games this year, but those 4 games he's dropped about 20 and 10 or so every game. And Jalen Graham is a potential MVP. I just would like to see that individual matchup. I think Sportsbook, their game last night may have, I'm not going to say they're going to win this game or win a playoff game, but they may have turned it around to make that game more competitive than we thought it would have been if that was asked us about 2 weeks ago.
Who is Lob 203 matched up against right now?
So they
Is
would
it
be
Redemption?
the firm right
Firm?
now, but that could change. It could be any of those teams in the middle, like Goon Squad. They can get the Renegades again. We'll get there in a second. There can be a 7-way tie
Look at you.
for 5th if things
So-
go right. So
TMC Goon was a possibility, right? Is that what we had said? I think that would be a really interesting matchup. As far as the individual matchups go, I think that could be a really interesting game to watch. Goon Squad has a lot of middleman bodies, so to speak. Not necessarily bigs, not necessarily guards, somewhere in the middle. And TMC kind of has that too. Kevin Blake is an inside man, but with guard-like skills. So I wonder how that game will turn out. I think it'll be close.
anything else about Lob? I know after yesterday, they're going to be a very popular upset pick.
Yeah.
But what did they do yesterday to? Because again, let's make sure we get this right. Right?
Score.
They can finish anywhere. So they're currently 11th. Yeah, they scored. They were throwing lobs in the hoop. They can finish 7th, as high as 7th, as low as 12th. So that can be a 12-5, right? They can be the 12 and a 12-5, or they can be the 7 seed and a 7-10, which upsets there are very possible.
Well, I think one thing that they did yesterday that they haven't done all season is actually finish up the game. They scored over 20 points in the 4th period, which I don't know exactly if we've seen them do that all season, but that was a major contribution to their victory, was just being able to finish off the game strong.
I think it's going to work to their benefit also that we always talk about it every week. There's a tough schedule. They're willing to come up and compete against any team in this league. I don't think they're necessarily afraid of any team in this league. They've taken a couple of the top teams in the league down to the wire, so they should be confident.
They're the Cinderella team, I think, in this playoff.
For sure. Depending on the matchups. Wow, Will Hudson's watching too. He better get his butt over here. So, we have some scenarios. Temptations, as we know, win and they're the 3. If not, depending on how much they lose by, specifically 32 points is the difference right now, where they can be the 5 instead of the 4. and then you guys can just comment on some of this stuff. Run TMC with a win by 14 or more gets them a 6. A win by 1 point to 13 points gets them the 7 seed because the firm is there already set at 5-4. And then a loss then, as we see here, they can get as low as 11, depending on who else wins. So that's a huge range for them. Renegades win versus Lob and a Run TMC loss gets the Renegades a 7 seed. Goon Squad win versus Serial Killers, which we don't think is that likely, but still in play right now. And TMC and Renegades losses gets Goon up to 6 because the Goon beat the firm, and they would have the same record. And a Lob win over the Renegades plus Run TMC and Goon losses gets that 7-way tie for 6th or 7th. 5-way tie for 7th seed. That's why I'm messing that up. 5 teams would be in from 7 to 12, depending on the tiebreaker, which is a huge difference.
Soon enough, it won't be so complicated.
So complicated. Yeah. But so let's talk about some of that stuff. Or any last comments about even tonight's games that you want to touch on?
I just think it's interesting that Goon can go from the 8-9 matchup, which is technically supposed to be the most even matchup of the playoffs, this going all the way up to 6 and playing a double-digit seed, which, not to say that the 11 seed, whoever it may be, could be Lob, it could be rookies, not to say that they're bad teams, they're pretty good teams, as we've seen, but to the difference, because they could easily be playing TMC or Renegades, which I consider better teams than those two, and you could avoid Will Hudson, who can go off, or you can avoid Tyree, who can go off for 30. I think that'd be big if they could get this win. It's going to be a tough game to play and win, but that'd be huge for them.
I'm looking forward to see if Davin's going to get healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's going to be huge.
That old age is tough to overcome. Huh?
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Shout out Davin's
Bring
chiropractor.
his
I
bat.
posted about it on Facebook.
Regardless if he plays or not tonight, he needs to bring his bat. That was hysterical.
His bat. Any other comments before we wrap it up?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Good to go. We have Derek Edwards from Light It Up, who's hanging out.
What up, Derek?
And says he'll be back for his 3rd season in the summer, which is awesome.
Sweet.
You can sign up for the summer now. All that information can be found all over the place, but we have a season here to finish up.
Yes, we do.
We'll wrap up tonight. We'll do a post game with the final seeds. Bracket will be up tomorrow. We'll be scheduling those games tomorrow. And then be sure to tune in for the All-Star Draft Wednesday night. We'll be back in this very room doing the draft as we have the past couple seasons. I don't even know if I'll be on camera. So that'll be a change-up, which I'm sure a lot of you guys out there would like. We will see you here at InSports an hour from now. Full hour. We tip off the last night of the regular season. Week 10 Tuesday, Around the Arc. Pregame show presented by Burns Tire. Ben, Matt, Ellis, and Ryan. I'm Joey. We will, again, games begin in an hour. And we'll see you for the post game and a whole bunch of previewing the first round that starts next week.